Your pulse spikes. Heat floods your neck. Before you can even process what is happening, the words are already out. Then the adrenaline clears. What is left behind isn't victory. It is a heavy, sinking knot in your chest, the quiet, crushing realization that you just lost control. We hate that feeling, so we lie to ourselves. We rationalize the outburst. We tell ourselves we were just defending our boundaries, or that we are simply a passionate person. Slapping the label of passion on a lack of emotional discipline keeps you blind to the real, compounding psychological cost you pay every time you snap. Take a young man named David. He worked 60 hours a week and cared deeply for his family. But his temper was a hair trigger, and slowly, the people around him started stepping back. The outbursts compounded. A snapped reply to a manager cost him a promotion, and eventually his job. Worse was the look on his mother's face when his shouting shattered another family dinner. He would always apologize the next morning, but words fired off in a highly reactive state leave permanent dents in trust. An apology cannot erase the memory of a sudden attack. Anger is widely perceived as a protective shield or a sign of power. In reality, it is a spiked outer shell built to hide a fragile, insecure core. It's an expensive behavioral mask hiding deep insecurity. To understand why we do this, look at this cross-section of the human brain. Right here in the center is the amygdala, our brain's primal, deeply outdated emotional alarm system. This is the source of the amygdala hijack. This specific piece of hardware evolved to keep early humans alive. When a physical predator appeared, the amygdala sounded the alarm instantly, flooding the body with survival chemicals. Today, you aren't running from predators. You're dealing with a frustrating email or a sarcastic comment from a coworker. But the amygdala cannot tell the difference. It triggers the exact same extreme chemical alarm for a minor ego threat. When that alarm sounds, the data flow actually bypasses the prefrontal cortex, the logical, intelligent part of your brain. It routes straight down into your lower fight or flight centers. When you lash out in the heat of the moment, you are trying to navigate a complex modern social interaction using the exact same instincts required to survive a bear attack. This brings us to the physics of provocation. Interpersonal conflict is, at its core, a transfer of power. In this model, watch what happens when an insult lands. If you react instantly, the provoker seizes directional control over your internal state. You just handed them the joystick to your emotions. The person yelling and screaming thinks they are dominating the room. They aren't. They are acting as a puppet, submitting complete control to someone else's string pulling. David finally learned this from a retired school principal named Mr. Harrison. Harrison gave him a simple, radical challenge. The next time you feel that heat rising in your neck, you have to count to 10 before opening your mouth. The real conflict in that moment isn't between you and the person antagonizing you. The true battlefield is between your own logic and your biological reflexes. Let's look at the mechanics of this pause in action. A slow, deliberate 3-second silence in the face of provocation sends a clear message. It signals absolute, unbothered confidence. Instead of meeting force with equal force, that discipline acts as an invisible barrier. The hostile momentum crashes into it and simply stops. It is unable to transfer its kinetic energy. By offering zero reaction, you force the aggressor to sit awkwardly in the silence with their own ugly behavior. You effectively disarm them without firing a single shot. Mastering that pause is the ultimate power move. It reverses the entire dynamic of the confrontation because you retain ownership of your internal environment. To achieve this level of emotional self-mastery, you have to start viewing external provocations differently. Treat them merely as bait, designed specifically to test your discipline. When someone lashes out, their anger says everything about their own internal state and very little about yours. You can set firm boundaries without escalating the drama by simply refusing to take their hostility personally. Take a look at this scale. On one side is a chaotic cluster representing the fleeting need to be right. On the other is a steady focal point representing long-term peace of mind. The steady point easily anchors the balance. Over the years, David applied this discipline. He went from being an isolated, angry youth to becoming the most patient and respected leader in his community. It is time to stop using passion as a convenient excuse for a severe lack of emotional discipline. True strength is never found in the explosion. True strength is the quiet self-control required to walk away, hold your tongue, and own your own mind.